Today's episode is brought to you by Daily Harvest. Get more time back to do you and take care of yourself this summer. Go to dailyharvest.com/lady to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/lady for up to $40 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/lady.
Welcome to the Lady Gang. You're about to listen to our podcast, but there is so much more our community has to offer. Follow us at the Lady Gang, join our secret Facebook group, shop our clothing line, books, and find out when we're going to be in your city at theladygang.com. We're so excited you're here. Enjoy the show.
Well, what is this?
Welcome to the Lady Gang.
That's amazing. Say that again.
The Lady Gang.
Things are about to change around here.
Each week we catch up with Hollywood's hottest girl posse, Kelty Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jack Vanek.
Hello. Welcome to the Lady Game. Lady Gang.
Lady Gang.
Podcast, welcome to the Lady Game, where 12 Lady Gang contestants will compete.
Why have we never thought of lady games?
I feel like they had to have come up at some point.
I feel like it hasn't.
I think I have a problem. I can't speak anymore. I just had to put an audition on tape yesterday afternoon, and I had to do like 8 different actions because I was tripping over words and they weren't hard words. So that's fun. Well, in that case, it's time for
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
So this has to do with me and auditions. So now, obviously, everything's virtual, and it's so lovely. I'm so grateful. It makes it so that I can put an audition on tape from anywhere in the whole world, and it's so wonderful. So I upload my auditions to Vimeo, which is a great website. It's not sponsored, but you can see how many times it's been viewed, the video. Oh, so you can send off auditions and see. You can kind of know within 24 hours if you're in the running because
it has people would have had to look at it.
Yeah. So this is so
you got one with 0.
No, that's way better than what I'm going to say because 0 didn't even give you a chance, so you can't feel bad.
Oh,
I put an audition on tape where I feel like there's been no better role written for me. Nothing. The script was great. It's this not an indie film, kind of an indie film. It's a guy who's a stand-up comedian who wrote it. He's written 2 other movies and they've been great. It's sort of that dream job where as an actor of my caliber, you don't get offered Marvel movie auditions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these are the ones that are hard to get even auditions for because it's a lot of people vying after these roles. Anyways, Ricky calls me my manager and he's like, I think this is a really good role for you. It's the thing that we've been waiting for you to do. And I read it and I agreed. I was like, this is so up my alley. It's really just so easy for me. And I put it on tape. And even though I flubbed up my words in the beginning, I got 2 really decent takes, 2 great, not great, decent. And I put it up on Vimeo and I never check the status of anything because I send it out in the ether and I don't want to know and I don't care. But I started to get curious because this job starts very soon. And I was like, well, I just want to see. I mean, I'm going to start making some plans for August and I just want to see if I'm supposed to be doing that. You know what I mean? Getting really cocky and presumptuous. So I pull up my Vimeo account. Let me pull it up right now. It's been 24 hours since I've submitted. Now, just know that at least 2 of these views would be Ricky and my agent. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Scene number 1, 4 views. So Ricky, my agent, and then maybe 2 casting people.
Okay.
They didn't watch scene 2 or my slate. Your slate is basically you just standing in front of the camera saying your name and your height or whatever. So they watched my first scene, 2 people, and then decided, you know what?
Not worth it.
I'm good.
Not even worth 5 seconds.
Also, the next video is a minute and 19 seconds. So they didn't have a minute and 19 seconds to spare to watch video number 2. So I essentially put an audition on tape for my agent and my manager to enjoy solely.
Wait. Was the first read or the second read better?
The second scene was just better in general. So it could have been.
So they didn't even see that. They
didn't even see the really good one. I mean, in my defense, the first scene and everybody that read this material was it's not as funny. The first scene's just not written as well, but it's fine. And the second scene was funnier. So I'm Bummer.
Well,
Could they be maybe like, I don't know, busy and we'll get back to it later?
Yeah, maybe they were like, we're not doing that. Like we're sending.
No, I think this job starts in like 2 weeks. They're not like waiting around to like make
casually
popcorn
looking.
and make.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe they saw it and they were like, we like her, and we sent her through. Now, like in 24 more hours, you'll see more views.
I mean, listen, I'm totally okay with being a loser right now.
Listen, they either you sucked super fucking bad, or
Or you're
you were
booking
so
it this
good,
afternoon.
They did not even need to see the next video.
Here's the thing. I didn't suck. I can the reason I can talk about this like this is because I'm confident that it didn't suck. Like it was actually one of my top 5 audition tapes of my life, which is also really devastating that it got that my
views.
Best isn't good enough to get more than my agent and my manager to watch, but it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm going to move past it. So that's my bad week.
Okay.
And I like to give you guys like the life inside of a psychotic actress. So, my good week, I got in my car and I very rarely have my like Bluetooth connected to the car. And like my music's not connected. I do like satellite radio occasionally. I'll sometimes do podcasts, whatever. Out of nowhere, one of the LadyGang podcasts from like our first year of podcasting, our very first year of podcasting starts to play. And I was dying laughing because I have not gone back and listened to early LadyGang. You guys, I think it was embarrassing, like cringy. And we were talking about like a dictionary word, ambitious. And we thought it was like groundbreaking, the term ambitious. And I was so embarrassed for myself, even over again, like secondhand embarrassment for myself in the form of old LadyGang. So I'm mortified. And I can't believe any of you guys have been listening since that day. Like, I hated it, but I also loved it because I don't feel like it's us anymore. You know, it feels like, oh, you stupid idiot. Like 6 years ago, you were I mean, I still am an idiot, but it was kind of enjoyable.
Okay.
Who's next?
My heart is pounding thinking about it.
Honestly, I'm getting a little pukey thinking about it.
Yeah. It was a slap in the face.
You just remind me there's like 500 episodes of me being like a psychopath out there in the world. Because it's real when we put it out, and I listen to every episode. So I'm
interested to see or to listen to Kelty in the beginning, especially to see how especially confident you were in yourself before Beck and I broke you down.
That's mean.
I do wonder if Jack and I were the people who peeled back your onion, so to speak. And
you're definitely the onion peelers.
Are we? Because I do feel like we've been able to expose a side of you that has always been there, but maybe hasn't always been appreciated.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
You're the onion peeler. Okay, Jack.
So my good week is I got a brand new computer. It's a fantastic week. And during my whole new computer experience, I've gone through my email and I've unsubscribed to every email. And I used to have to do it through this, it's like Unroll Me or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you use that, they somehow subscribe you to more emails. So I've been slowly plucking away at my inbox. Anytime I get a subscription email from some publicity company, like somehow people are putting me on emails like I'm a publicist and I want to start covering stories. Is it because of LadyGang? Like how are people getting my email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you like to cover this new story about Bella Hadid? I'm like, no, I don't. I barely know who she is. But it feels really good. I'm having a brand new start, slowly chipping away at my inbox. I also just realized that you could just mark all emails as read. So now I don't have an inbox full of 11,000 emails. I'm starting from 0 again.
But did you read the emails?
No, because there are a bunch of old emails from like 5 years ago.
Oh my God, this gives me anxiety.
It was all of the spam emails that I have been getting from publicists for the past 5 years that I didn't actually want to read.
Okay.
So now when I have a notification, like my calendar,
so you're going to reply to emails now? what you're saying?
No.
Okay. I don't think you will. Okay.
Sometimes I will.
Probably not.
That's my good week. My bad week is I think that I've been living with Jared for enough time that now I am taking for granted what he does around the apartment because he was gone recently and our shower clogged up and I had to
Get the hair out.
Get the little snake thing and get all of the hair and gook out of the bottom of the shower myself. And I haven't had to do that in like 3 years. And I almost threw up.
That is the grossest.
It's nasty.
I just do Drano.
There honestly was no room for the Drano to go. Like it was so clogged. It was so disgusting. And I would rather literally clean up shit or like puke in a toilet than pick up hair that is like melded with gook and like bleh.
Is there a grosser experience than being in a hotel and turning on the shower?
Nope.
And being inside of it and then the water starts rising because the drain is so clogged?
No. Because there's like other people's body cells and other people that have probably peed in the shower and hair and skin.
I'll pass.
Yeah, it could have been worse. Could have been a shower at a hotel. Kelty?
Okay, bad week. I finally grew something in my lettuce grow. I grew 3 squashes and I was so excited about them. And first of all, I thought I planted spaghetti squash, which in my opinion is the best squash, but I planted some fucking ugly gourd squash. So it grew and it grew huge and the squash took over my entire lettuce grow and then I got like little pincher bugs. Anyway, so I finally harvested my squash. I got my squash out. I cut them off. I put them on the ground because I was going to take them inside and possibly cook them. The story is going somewhere. And then I got busy and I forgot and I left them there overnight. And the fucking squirrel hopped over the fence and ate some of each of the squash. So now I can't cook it and eat it because there's squirrel bites and it might have a disease. So I'm pissed off and I'm only growing basil from now on. Good week.
Okay.
There's a TikTok real quick where it's like, I've spent 8,000 hours, $2,000 to grow this one strawberry worth 5 cents at Whole Foods.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like, do you actually end up saving money with a lettuce grow?
No. Listen, we're not talking about this. We have grown lettuce and it's fine. It's a passion.
We're not talking about this.
Good week. 1 month. Back off the Diet Coke. I got a flat stomach. I don't have indigestion. I'm sleeping well and I don't have zits. Thank you. Get to quitting Diet Coke again for the 900th time. I'll let you know when I get back on it. The last time we had a big podcast day, I was drinking a double gulp. So I feel very good about my quitting.
How do you?
I quit.
Good job.
Quit it again. Okay, coming up. Jordan.
Hello, all you jet-setting ladies, you sexual jet-setting ladies. This week's Lady Secrets theme is travel. If you didn't know, we're writing another book, and we're collecting all of our ladies' essays about all their deepest, darkest secrets. And this week, we're talking about travel. Have you had like a secret rendezvous at the south of France? Or have you told a lie on an airplane to get yourself upgraded to first class when you should never have been up there in the first place? Have you, have been involved in a crime and been locked up abroad? We want to know all your secrets about traveling the world. So write us at theladysecrets.com. You can write in a little essay. Nobody will know it's you. Or you can call 1-844-SEXY-LADY. That's 1-844-SXY-LADY. And nobody will ever know it's you.
I have been using this next sponsor for a long time. It is such a game changer. ZocDoc. It's a free app. And basically what it is, it's you avoiding having to search online when you need a doctor. You call the receptionist. It takes 1,000,000 years to schedule. You rearrange your whole schedule. And when you finally go, you find out they don't even take your insurance. But there's a solution. Just download the free ZocDoc app the easiest way to find a great doctor and instantly book an appointment. So with ZocDoc, you can search for local doctors who take your insurance, read verified patient reviews, and book an appointment in person or video chat. Never wait on hold with a receptionist again. Hallelujah. So go to ZocDoc.com/lady. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/lady. Download the app for free and you're going to love it. Now is the time to prioritize your health, and ZocDoc makes healthcare easy. ZocDoc.com/lady. Download ZocDoc app for free and book a top-rated doctor. Many are available as soon as today. You're welcome.
Today's episode is brought to you by Daily Harvest. So, if you're like me and you want to eat healthy, but you are really bad at cooking, you need to check out Daily Harvest because it makes eating healthy so simple. So, Daily Harvest delivers delicious harvest bowls, flatbreads, smoothies, and more, all built on organic fruits and vegetables right to your door. Some of my favorites are the broccoli and cheese harvest bowl, which is so delicious, their artichoke and spinach flatbread, and my absolute number one favorite is their Daily Harvest Scoops, which is their plant-based ice cream that is the perfect sweet treat that's gluten and dairy-free. So Daily Harvest takes literally minutes to prepare and never uses preservatives, added sugar, or artificial anything, and that goes for everything. And it conveniently stays fresh in your freezer, so it's ready to eat when you are. So get more time back to do you and take care of yourself this summer. Go to dailyharvest.com/lady to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/lady for up to $40 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/lady.
I'm so happy Everlane is a sponsor of LadyGang and that we can pass along these savings to you because I truly love this company. They have quality made clothing with ethical factories and transparent pricing since 2010. My favorite everyday pant has the pockets and is super flattering, wide leg. I have them in the black denim. I have them in a sort of like tan with a brown stripe. They have an elastic waist, thank God. Everything they make is just so well thought out, such high quality, and it looks really, really, really chic when you wear it. We're so excited they're our partner, and they have this deal for you. Go to everlane.com/ladygang and sign up for 10% off your first order plus free shipping. That's everlane.com/ladygang. By the way, you get easy returns within 30 days of your ship date and 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/ladygang and sign up. Don't forget to get the organic cotton crop top in black. I wear it almost every day. It's my favorite.
All right, I'm ready to talk to you about one of my favorite brands in the entire world, Away. So I have been gone from home for about 3.5 weeks. I've been visiting Jared. I'm going to New York City with Kelty tomorrow, and I have been taking my Away suitcase with me the entire trip, and I'm never using anything else because this suitcase is a game changer. So Away is a modern lifestyle brand that creates thoughtful products for every traveler and every kind of trip. And all of Away's suitcases are designed to last a lifetime with durable exteriors that can withstand even the roughest of baggage handlers. I can tell you from personal experience, my suitcase has gotten thrown around and it looks new. And all of Away's products are designed to last a lifetime. If any part of your suitcase breaks, Away's standout customer service team will arrange to have it fixed or replaced. And there's a 100-day trial on everything that Away makes. So start your 100-day trial and shop the entire Away lineup of travel essentials, including their best-selling suitcases at awaytravel.com/ladygang. That's awaytravel.com/ladygang.
Now back to the Lady Gang.
Our guest today really does have the art of charm. A former lawyer turned media mogul, he's made his career on teaching normies how to date and network. In fact, I guarantee today he will somehow get Jack and Becca to notice that deep inside their souls, they actually do enjoy my 10 p.m. Sunday night emails. His podcast, The Jordan Harbinger Show, receives over 6 million downloads a month. He's been named one of the 24 best podcasts to make you smarter, which is also crazy because we were on the list of 24 best podcasts to add nothing to your life. Please welcome the smarter, more charming Jordan Harbinger.
Hey, thank you for having me. You know, it's funny. I thought you were going to say you were on the same list, and I was like, oh, well, maybe Podcast One made that list and just threw us on there.
Yeah. No, that is a list we'll never be on.
Even if it was a Podcast One list, they'd be like, not LadyGang. No. They're not making you smarter.
What other networks can we pull ideas from for this? Because it's definitely not LadyGang. I mean, if you need to know how to treat a yeast infection, Jordan, we've got you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I watched a couple of your shows recently, of course, in preparation for this, just to make sure I could keep up with you guys. And I was like, there's a lot of commentary on clothing. I started to give my wife sort of an idea about what the show was. And I was like, they talk about janties and things they see at concerts that are panties that are open in the back where your butt cheeks hang out. And she's like, that's a podcast? And I was like, there's more, but it's hard to explain.
But not much more.
Fair question.
That was 60% of it. Yeah.
When it comes to a janty, that's about it.
A lot to discuss there.
A jean panty,
A jean panty. And by the way, they're still selling them. Our show was on E! Was almost 2 years ago. And we were at the cusp of the janty trend. And still janties are around. They've lasted.
Janties are back.
It sounds so uncomfortable. In fact, a lot of the things that women wear look and feel super uncomfortable. Some of the stuff, even some of the copy where it's the buttons go all the way up to your vagina. And I'm like, really? Is that the thing you want? You want buttons there?
It is.
The other day, there was a Vogue Instagram and it was Olivia Culpo and she's wearing a bathing suit. She's sitting in it and it's literally just up her belly button and then a T, it's the sign of a cross, basically.
Yeah.
And I just had to post on it. I was like, but where does my vagina go? Olivia, I'm so glad you look amazing, but you're not standing. And I know why you're not standing, because your vagina would fall out the side of this bathing suit.
Wait, this brings me to a really important question that I've been meaning to ask a straight man. I mean, this is just what a moment. So my husband, it was actually prompted by our lovely Jack Vanek posts a lot of bikini selfies. And she does a lot of body positivity. She's doing the Lord's work. And she looks great.
Totally.
But she does a lot of, the scantily clad bikinis. And I was on Instagram scrolling and Zach goes, does Jack know what straight dudes do when they see pictures like this? I go, no. He goes,
what do we do?
He goes, I've been sitting next to so many guys on airplanes or just socially or whatever. And they will look at the photo and they will use their two fingers and zoom in as much as they can on the vagina. So I was like, no, this isn't real. He goes, I've seen it more than twice.
I've seen that more than twice.
So I've zoomed in on Jack's vagina many times.
It's always on planes, though. That's the only time I've seen men do it. But maybe that's the only time you're really looking at other people's phones.
Yeah, and also they can't get privacy. They're not going to get up and go to the airplane restroom and do it. If they do that, they're not just zooming in.
Yeah.
That's already zoomed.
So
they found what they're looking for.
Confirm that as a straight dude, you don't have to say you do it. You could say you have a friend.
I'm sure that I've done it, but I can't think of when I would have done it. But I will tell you this. I would definitely be like this on a plane and be like, I can get away with this. I wouldn't just be like, all right, and then look around later and hope. It's when you're watching a movie on your iPad and there's a racy scene and you're like, I really hope there's not an old lady and two kids behind me. You ever do that? So I'm always or I'll turn the screen slightly to face inward more. And I'm like, let's just get the love scene part over with real quick in this movie. I don't know if I would have the kind of audacity / tacky. What's tacky plus audacity? What's that word?
Audacity.
Taudacity. I don't have the taudacity, the tackadacity to be like, whoa. And then just zoom in and then just assume that everybody looking at my phone screen is like, that's normal. That's fine.
Well, the problem is, too, on airplanes, you think that you have your phone at an angle that nobody's going to see, but you're not taking into consideration the 5 rows back. Anybody has a good vantage point for anybody on a plane. So
everyone. Yeah. First of all, my brother-in-law, he has this phone screen thing that makes you can't see when he tries to show you something. He has to tilt it perfectly,
like at the bank.
Like at the bank. Yes, like at the bank. That thing they have to take off to show you your account balance. He has that, but for his phone. And I'm thinking, when would you ever need that? And the obvious reason is when you're on a plane zooming into Jack Vanek's vagina.
Boom.
I should start selling those.
Jordan,
yeah, you could sell those. Call it the Jack Protector.
Yes.
Something like that.
Jack of all protectors. Oh,
the Jack Gina.
Don't get caught with your jack off. Buy one of these right now.
When you're ready to jack off.
That's a good one. When you're ready to jack off.
This is literally why Jordan is so successful. This is why Jordan's so successful.
I should write sales copy for Jack Vanek products.
Thank you. I know. We can be partners. Okay. Anyway.
So first I want to talk about the podcast because I have couple questions. I'm a highly sensitive person functioning as a full boss lady. And I'm very competitive. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. And you have done some things that I want to push you down the stairs for. So
Okay.
I want to ask you how you did it.
She's jealous, I'm assuming.
I'm jealous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
That's fine.
You know, like, congratulations on your success, Jordan.
I don't have a TV show. I never have.
We only had one for one season.
Yeah, it got canceled. And we made no money. We made $0. Okay, so how did you get an interview with someone that's in prison? The Fire Festival.
Billy McFarland. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, how
So-
does one get an inmate to get podcast equipment?
So the problem with that came about. Well, I don't know. Let's start. Let me back up. So I got the interview because a friend of mine was like, "Oh, hey, I know Billy McFarland's manager," and I'm like, "Okay, why does he have a manager? Isn't he a convicted felon?" And they're like, "Don't worry about that. He's in prison right now, and he wants to like get his side of the story out." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." Even though I think we all kind of know what happened here, I'm sure there's a different side of the story. So they get him on phone calls, and it's legal to make phone calls from prison, but it's kind of against prison rules to just do a media appearance without permission. So
Yeah.
the way, and that's, but as a journalist, like, that's not really my problem, like how they handle that, in my opinion. And sort of ethically, it's like, hey, if you didn't clear this with the warden, you know, fine.
Not my fault.
So we used Google Voice to record the call, and then he would call me, but like, they can't text you and be like, "Yo, we're on right now." And also the call's maximum length is 15 minutes because it's not a legal call. It's not with his lawyer. It's like calling your mom or your wife. So it's like got a definitive time limit. And then he has to wait 45 minutes till the next call. So what he did was he would call, Google Voice would pick up, record, and then it would like ring my phone as the through line. And it looked like he just kept calling Google Voice, which was somehow like pre-approved as a phone number with the prison. So, because you can't just like call random people from prison because they're worried you're going to like scam someone or like
I was
do
wondering,
something.
like, how you got on the list.
Yeah. So I got on the list by having Google Voice dial out, which is definitely against, I would assume now, against prison rules. And the reason I know that now is because he kept doing those calls, kept doing 15-minute increments, and then we edited it all together into the podcast. But I heard that right after the podcast aired, he ended up in solitary confinement for like 6 months.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 6 months, at least 6 months. And in fact,
Solitary confinement is fucking insane.
Yeah, they were super pissed off about it. Super pissed. And they were like, "This is you're breaking prison rules. This isn't cool." And then his lawyer was like, "It's not against the rules to talk to the media," which is technically true. And they're like, "Yeah, but you know, you made phone calls for a media appearance. It wasn't legit." And he was doing other things that I'm not totally familiar with and not totally in on. Like, let's say that we're all
Like
homies
setting
in
up
prison.
Fire Festival too? Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's probably that. Well, he brought in a USB pen recording device so that he could dictate like his memoirs as a book, which like that's a whole different thing. But you're not allowed to have that in prison.
Has the tachosity.
He does. He's got that tachosity. So he did that. They didn't like that. They put him in solitary for that in another prison. And then also he would do things like trade phone time with other inmates and then like pay them. And you can't put money, like there's this thing called commissary where like we can all buy chewing gum and ramen or whatever. If you stab someone for me, hypothetically, or whatever other kind of favors, I can't just drop $500 into your account, or I can't pay you and be like, "Yo, keep an eye on my back, like watch out for me in the joint." They don't want you to get extorted, and they don't want you to be able to bribe people just because you have money on the outside. So he did something like that for his friends who were inmates, and like he got caught for that. So I think this was just kind of the last straw for the prison and Billy McFarland. But he, as far as I know, may even still be in solitary confinement, which totally sucks. I mean, that show came out in like February or January or something like that. I mean, it was a while ago, and he got in a lot of trouble for that. And I do have some sympathy for being locked away, just as a human. I have some empathy, I should say, for being locked up by yourself for that long. But also, it's like, stop breaking freaking rules and like stop doing things that you're not supposed to do. You know, this is just like so Fire Festy to do stuff like that. It really is.
Well, he's
like,
a scammer through and through. Like he probably
Jam the
can't help
scam.
himself.
He can't help himself. That's the thing about a scammer is that
He's got to keep scamming.
There's always a new scam.
Yep,
and
even in
you know, it's
prison.
funny. It's funny to hear you talk about this because y'all are entrepreneurs. I'm a business owner / entrepreneur. I don't know how often that word gets used, but like we're all wired differently, right? We go, hey, why start this little thing and then work really like brick by brick? Why don't we, you were like, let's do a TV show. Oh, but no one's going to give us a TV show for no reason. Let's do a podcast, blow that up, then turn that into a TV show, then turn that into these different lines and a podcasting course and clothing company. So I get like the hacking of the system. Yeah. But y'all weren't like, let's steal a bunch of stuff based on lies and then turn it into this other thing and then be like, it's okay, we made money. Like, that's where the scamming begins and the entrepreneurship kind of ends. And I feel like a lot of these guys, because it is usually guys, a lot of these guys and gals, people, I should say, they just go, you know what? I'm just going to do this other thing and like all's well that ends well and hope for the best and buy my way out of it by paying lawyers.
Well, that's just the difference between a good and a bad person. Like all of us are crafty and hustlers, but like if you're a bad person, you're probably going to scam your way to the top. We're trying to like do it, you know, legally.
Like a small scam. Like
tiny scams along the way.
Scam light.
Like airbrushing your bikini vulva, not a scam.
Totally fine.
I don't even do that.
Just a little bit of a lean to the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like lying to your investors and taking their millions and then blowing it on stuff and then being like, oh, I just should have started a few months ago and then everything would have been fine. Like, nah, that's a scam.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing. If we ever had a fire festival, we would not serve that sandwich because Jack is this little Sandy here. Her rap name is a sandwich connoisseur. Like she would have been the bread, the cheese, and then some potato chips, and then the other piece of pathetic bread, and that would have been our fire festival. So there's a couple things that I've taken from listening to you and reading you that I love, that I want to share with our audience. And there's something that you said, and I can't remember if it's your original quote or if you quoted someone else, but dig the well before you get thirsty. Ooh, take me to church. Jordan, what does that mean?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that that's a book title from like 1996. But I use it because, look, Becca's about to fall off her chair. I love it.
I don't know what she just did.
I took that from like a book, in like the 90s. But, you know, I feel like that's fair, whatever. What I mean by that is a book that I didn't even read.
Amazing.
But what the book title means to me is you have to build relationships before you need them. And a lot of people, y'all are familiar with the LA scene, right? How often does somebody call you and go like, hey, girl, and you're like, oh, what do you want? And it's always like, so I'm releasing a book and I want to go on LadyGang. I know we've been meaning to do this for years. And you're like, wait, no, we haven't. I've never talked to you. Like last time I talked to you, you wanted to get free makeup from me, or like you asked me for like free clothing. That's like, we haven't been meaning to do shit. And all these people do that. And then, or they're like, hey, have I told you about Herbalife or like Scientology or whatever it is, right? Like it's one thing after another. And so I'm talking about digging the well before you're thirsty, which is like, hey, I heard you're releasing this. What can I do to help you? Oh, you're looking for PR? Hey, here's a person that I know that's been killing it for me. Oh, you're starting a podcast? Here's a hosting company that's going to do well for you. Or like, you're looking for a network. Let me introduce you to Podcast One because they'll do a good job selling your ads or whatever it is. And they're like, oh, okay. And then you just keep helping people. You don't have to put yourself out. You don't have to like code their website yourself. You don't have to pay for anything. It's just about like taking nodes in your network and connecting them to each other. And when you do that enough, you build referral currency or social capital. And then people are like, oh my gosh, you know, you've been super helpful. What can I ever do for you? And then when you do finally launch your book or your clothing line, you just put the word out there and people are like, oh, good. Finally a chance to help this person back who's gotten me my podcast host and has helped me set this up and told me which microphones to buy and like taught me how to plug everything in on a Zoom call that took like 5 minutes, but would have taken me like an hour to read all the docs and figure out. They're trying, they really want to pay you back or at least reciprocate a little because they haven't had a chance to. So it's like this law of reciprocity stuff where you sort of psychologically feel like you owe people one. Just build as many of those as you can. And that's about digging the well before you get thirsty. Build those relationships before you need them. What most people do is they just constantly think, what's in it for me right now, instead of thinking, how can I maybe do something for someone else that doesn't cost me much? And when you are only thinking short term, it's like dating, right? It's like, it just doesn't work that well when you're only like, oh yeah, I'm only going to call you when I'm like horny and it's 12 p.m. It's like that only, or 12 a.m. Yeah, I can do
I like it 12 p.m.
We like afternoon sex, so
yeah, who doesn't? But like
Him booty call.
that only works under certain very concrete circumstances, and people who rely on that as a strategy, they are less lucky in every sense of the word than somebody who's like, hey, you know, driven you to the airport a bunch of times. No, you probably want to, and I've got that 6-pack abs or whatever the hell, like, you know, you're looking for these days. Like, you want to make sure that you have built up that referral currency so that that person feels good about helping you, not like guilted into it or strong-armed into it, because that's when you just ghost. I mean, we've all had those people come to us and it's like, oh my God, block. Right.
Yeah.
But you want people who've done as much as they can to help you before you were useful to them. And that's like a measure of their character.
For sure. Maybe now Kelty will start responding to people's text messages.
Maybe.
That looks like a
That's
no.
why I'm part of a trio, honestly, because I don't have that. I'm working.
She's not the connector.
No.
Got it.
That's
Do
what
you
literally.
have like 70 unread texts? Are you one of those people that has like notifications you just ignore?
No. My
No,
issue,
she reads
Jordan,
it. She
I
just
read
doesn't
everything
respond.
and I
Yes.
don't respond.
Yeah.
I'm that person.
Everything.
So like
That's
to the
so
fact that like I read
cringe.
DMs on Instagram and then
Gotten
I
her
don't
in trouble.
respond and people are mad. People are like, you read it, but you didn't respond. I was like, I know. I put it in my body and like I'll talk to you about it the next time I see
put it
you.
in my
Except then I
body.
don't leave my house. Like anyway, that's why I have to be a part of a trio, because between the three of us, we have all the human skills. I can make a list. We have our creative with Jack. We have a networking queen. Like Becca is someone that has a well. She's the person that's always like, I'll go to your stupid party. I'll post your stupid sunglasses.
No,
Like,
she definitely lives by everything that you were talking
I
about.
do. But
Because
so
she
I
also
just-
cares.
To pat my own back, I did not know I was building a well. I just enjoy connecting people because I was so grateful to have had that done for me.
yeah. But when we had our TV show, it was like, who the do you have in the well, Becca? Because we can't book this shit. And we're like,
I
Becca's
was like,
friend, we
and
want.
nobody's
Becca's
helping
friend
us.
booked too. Becca's
I'm like,
friend.
who can I blow this week? That was not my ideal connector, but you know, yes, it's true.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's good.
that's-
You need that.
That makes sense. It is always about digging, like, you have to draw on the well at some point, but you did it naturally because, like you said, you found somebody doing it for you and you're like, oh, this works, right? Most
Yeah.
people, they don't realize that, or they have a little bit of like social anxiety, or they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm busy. So let's say you work at Amazon or something. A lot of times people go, well, I don't want to network and stuff like that. I'm a software engineer, or I'm an engineer who's not an outgoing person. I'll just keep my head down and I'll work my ass off, and then my work will speak for itself. And then when the person they hired 4 years ago is now like their boss on some project, they're like, what the hell? And they go, oh, well, it's all about who you know. And they put like stank on the end of that phrase. It's okay, fine. So if you know that's an unfair advantage that some people have, why are you not super busy making that your unfair, so to speak, advantage? Why are you sleeping on this? And the real reason is because they're like, oh, well, I don't know. I'm afraid to go to a mixer or a party and like have people not like me. And what I'm telling people is it's not about like going to a cocktail party and like flipping your hair and being super entertaining and cool. It's about texting one person a day that you haven't talked to in 3 years and being like, hey, what's going on? I see on social you're in Greece. That looks amazing. I'm rocking my podcast right now. Let me know when you're back. Like, I'm happy to help you with your like sunglasses launch if you're relaunching your new product, whatever it is. And they're like, oh, great. That's all it is. I do it with 4 people a day. I call it Connect 4 because all I do is go to the bottom of my text messages and I just text like 4 people that are at the bottom of those threads. You know, those people you had lunch with like in 97. You're like, hey, still vegan? Like, here's my kid. And they're like, wow, you've got married and reproduced? That's terrifying, right? Like those threads. And then half the time, it's just more than half the time, they're like, anyway, yeah, I work at such and such. Cool. Nice talking with you. Bye. It's just texting back and forth. It doesn't result in anything.
Yeah.
But if you do that with 4 people a day, you're re-engaging like hundreds of people every year. And some of those people are going to reach out and go, hey, 3 months ago, you mentioned that you were doing keynote speaking. I'm picking our keynote for our sales thing. Do you want to do it? Or, hey, do you know anybody who can do podcasting consulting? Our company's doing one. And I said, I know a podcaster now. Because you're top of mind. And then you can say like, well, I don't want to consult for Bausch and Lomb on their branded podcast, but I know this company will. So you throw a referral to somebody else in your network and they're like, oh, thanks for the $10,000 consulting gig with this company. So now you're building referral currency on both ends. And all you did was send some sort of text. This is time you normally would have wasted waiting in line at Starbucks or whatever, checking, like clicking on cat photos. So it's not like you're not sitting around devoting...
I would never click on a cat photo.
You wouldn't, but a lot of
Cats
people
are the
would.
devil, but yeah.
But that's actually, I love that. I love how you're kind of quantifying this, right? Because a lot of people probably think about it in like a skeevy way where it's like, oh, I'm going to like use this person at the end of the day. But it really is, I love the way that you're doing that because it just sort of puts it in layman's terms where it's like, okay, that's great. And you're having these human connections and people are going to care about what you're doing at the end of the day.
Yes, it's the human connection element. It's you not asking for anything right away because, again, dig the well before you're thirsty. But also, you're looking for opportunities to help other people instead of just looking for what's in it for you. A lot of people think, oh, it's selfish just to look at what's in it for you. But it's also very human, right? Like maybe one of the common excuses or whatever that I hear from people is, well, I don't think about other people that much. Maybe I should until I need something. It's totally normal to be like, oh gosh, we're launching a book. Who do we talk to about this? Oh, we made a huge list of 300 people, but I haven't talked to them in a long time. That is very normal. What you're doing with Connect 4 and digging the well before you're thirsty is you realize that at some point in your life that is probably going to happen, right? You're probably going to get thirsty. Whatever the project is, whatever like the stock market crash or whatever thing that you're dealing with is, you know that it's inevitable, so you're just preparing for that. So I never planned on writing a book, and I still don't think I really want to. But if I did, I would be able to call upon hundreds of people who I've helped throughout the years. And I'd be able to go, hey, can you do? No one in their right mind is going to go, aha. So you helping me casually through the past 3.5 years with other things was just you lubing me up to promote your book. And it's like that's obviously not what happened. But if I reach out to somebody and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, great weather here in California. So I got a book. You're like, okay, I knew that the other shoe was going to drop. People are suspicious, and rightfully so. So you break that pattern by being generous for literally years, and it doesn't cost you anything. It costs you a few minutes a day.
Wow. I love this.
The other Jordanism is your focus on the power of perception. And I love this because I am a lady who is faking it till she makes it.
Till she dies. It's all of us just faking until we die.
Yes. But I really do believe in the power of perception. So the girls will make fun of me because I'll like do an interview or I'll write a bio for us. And I'm like,
you want me to give you a perfect example?
Sure.
So actors, when they're on a TV show that gets nominated for an Emmy and the show itself wins the Emmy, the actor gets to take home an Emmy. You know what I mean? It's like you're part of an ensemble that won an Emmy about the show. But really the winner of that Emmy is the creator of the show. So those actors in their bios on Instagram will never say Emmy nominated or Emmy winning unless it was like their personal performance. That's just sort of like across the board understanding. Well, Kelty's show that she worked on for 3 years, Entertainment Tonight, has won 3 Emmys.
But they've won 6, but I was only there for 3.
So she was there for 3 and she worked on the show for 3. So her Instagram bio says 3-time Emmy Award winning journalist.
At least you didn't put 6, but also a little bit weird. Yeah.
She would. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that you haven't put 6.
But
Perception.
I have the Emmys at my house and they say Kelty Night on them. So to me, I won an Emmy. Like when you win a group
Which
Emmy.
is true.
Becca and Jack don't understand because they've never been nominated for a major award before. But
Not true.
People's Choice Award.
Wait, and Teen Choice, and I'm pretty sure I was on a show that won like 1 million SAG awards and Golden Globes.
Well, that's on you then. I'm just saying that I got a memo from the Academy saying congratulations.
You technically won an Emmy. Like you technically were given an Emmy.
No, we're talking about the optics of the whole situation.
That's
the
an example.
All of the journalists are so desperate for validation that it doesn't matter if you're on Access Hollywood or Extra or Good Morning America. When that show wins, you put it on your bio. There's nothing else to win.
But it's also because journalists are incredible at perception. Like,
yes, because we know how to play the game.
Exactly.
I'm like, Angelina Jolie, you know your movie's terrible. You're going to walk the carpet in a fabulous outfit and act like it doesn't stink. You know it stinks. It was horrible when you were reading the script. You know what I mean? It's the power of perception.
I mean, look, perception is true. The power of perception is obviously a thing, right? I mean, it goes without saying. But you run the risk, I guess this probably bears thinking about, but you run the risk of inside your circle of knowledge or your industry running into barriers here, right? Like if you tell me you worked on ET and the show won 3 Emmys while you were there, as an outsider, I'm like, wow, okay, great. But if you tell me that you won 3 Emmys and I'm in the industry and I'm like, wait, you didn't win those, even though you technically did. Let's say you didn't. Let's say you were like an intern at the time or something, and I don't know if they count.
Interns don't make the list.
Right, they don't make the list, okay? But let's say like, I worked on multiple Emmy award-winning shows, and it's like, yeah, but you were like the person who made sure that the cars didn't get towed at the set.
Right.
That person probably counts too, actually. It's just the other, like the coffee maker doesn't. Then it becomes a little bit of a fib, right? It is a fake it till you make it. And so it actually costs you as you get closer to the people who are important and influencers in your industry. It actually costs you social capital, right? Because they go, this is not really true. What else about this person should I not trust? True. Right? What else isn't true?
Ooh, you missed that,
Nothing's
Kelsey.
true. That's the whole thing. It's all
No, but he's right. He's right. He is saying the people, not who matter, but the people whose opinion is important to your success. It's what their perception of what you're presenting is going to be.
And you can't fool them.
And that's why when Kelty tells me to do shameless things as an actress, I say to her, as a journalist, I understand why you're telling me to do this, but the people that I need to impress are actually showrunners, producers, executives, and they will see that and say, that's a desperate idiot move. A good example would be like, going to so actors get invited all the time to go to other premieres if you're not in the movie. But in the industry, it's sort of like a little bit of a thing where you slightly look down upon somebody who goes and walks a carpet of a premiere of a project they did not do.
That makes sense. Okay.
So there are plenty of people who do it and they get picked up in Us Weekly and they get a lot of press and they look
their
beautiful.
Outfit's great.
And so the press is like, this person's a star, this person's a star. But the people like the executives at, Disney are saying that bitch wasn't even in the show. Why is she walking the carpet? So like, to me, I find it more important to not, for the perception of me, for those people to be better than the press.
That makes sense, right? It depends on the crowd that you're playing for, I suppose.
All right. When we come back, Jordan's going to fix your life. Huzzah is a sponsor of LadyGang, and Huzzah really saved the freaking day last week. I got to be honest with you. While I was kind of nursing my brother back to health last week, he's had a lot of stomach trouble, and he was like, I just want something to drink. And I was like, well, why don't you try Huzzah? They don't have it in Canada yet. And so he's trying it and he's like, this is so delicious. And the reason it made his tummy feel better is because it's full of added probiotics. This is the fun, crisp, delicious way for you to get those added probiotics in your life that we all need. It's a non-alcoholic seltzer and has 15 calories or less per can. And the flavors are amazing. Juicy pear, family favorite, strawberry and hibiscus, raspberry, and lemon. So put an exclamation point in your summer with Huzzah. Stock up now with 20% off when you use code LADY at drinkhuzzah.com. That's code LADY for 20% off at drinkhuzzah.com. HUZZAH.com. Code LADY. Enjoy.
Today's episode of LadyGang is brought to you by European Wax Center. So if you've listened to any episode of LadyGang before, you know that we freaking love European Wax Center. We all get waxed there. We've even had an entire episode dedicated to European Wax Center. And when you visit European Wax Center, you know that you're getting the best of the best. European Wax Center certified wax specialists are expertly trained in prepping, protecting, and pampering your skin. And did you know that as experts in wax, they're also the expert in skin? And their all new line of products are specifically designed to pair with waxing. Now, my favorite product by them is their Ingrown hair serum. I use it sometimes when I'm not even waxing because I get ingrown hairs from doing hot yoga or doing cycling, and it is a freaking game changer. And European Wax Center is so confident that you'll love their services and products that they're offering all first-time guests their first wax free. So visit waxcenter.com to book your reservation today and check out the new line of products. And remember, your first wax is free.
Now that the world is starting to open again, we can safely get together. And you know, I'm not all about the cleanup at the end of the night. And that is why I love the Chinette brand. They have Chinette Classic, Chinette Crystal, and Chinette Comfort. They are durable plates, platters, bowls, cups, utensils. They are so great to just pull out, have a get together, easy cleanup, and we love them. And it looks like you're pulled together. The guests aren't afraid to touch. Everyone can just be chill and relaxed. There's no bends or leaks. They're microwave safe. And here's what's really cool. They're made in the USA, and they're made with at least 80% recycled materials. You can put ribs on that platter, honey. You can put a cake on that platter. Easy cleanup, perfect for holiday gatherings. And we really just love them so much. So visit mychinette.com to find out more. That's mychinette.com to find out more.
Okay, ladies, can't remember the last time you wanted sex? Oh, you've got kids in the car? Oh, we'll call it ice cream. Listen, I scream, you scream, but maybe not for ice cream. Oops. If your desire for ice cream feels, well, like a rocky road, you're not alone. Millions of women have felt their libido melting away because of a medical condition known as hypoactive sexual desire disorder, or HSDD. But unlike brain freeze, HSDD can be treated. Maybe it's time to change the flavor of the day from not in the mood to libido renewed. So whether you're into plain vanilla or the queen of whipped cream, down to cone, or deciding between the big or little spoon, it's time to scream for ice cream again. Visit screamforicecreamagain.com to learn more. That's screamforicecreamagain.com.
Hey, ladies! Get funky. Ask the Lady Gang.
All right, we're back. So, Jordan, for this part of our podcast, it's called Ask the Lady Gang. We have all of our listeners writing questions about life, love, work, whatever, and we try to fix their lives. Usually it's really bad, but you're kind of a genius. So hopefully we get something good advice. Okay, our first question comes from Louise, and she says, I'm a 25-year-old working in finance. Networking seems to be an important part of my career, but I find myself getting uncomfortable walking up to a man and going through the motions of networking. It might just be me, and I'm way over analyzing this, but how do you network with the opposite gender and make sure you aren't accidentally giving mixed signals?
Wow, that's really good.
That is good. We actually get this question all the time. I do like Friday advice shows on the Jordan Harbinger show, and I've gotten this question a few times. So it is tough because if it's a guy networking, it's like, yeah, just go chat and like look for ways to help them, like the stuff we talked about before, utilize technology to probe your network. But a lot of guys, especially if they're getting an unsolicited text from a woman that they haven't talked to in a year, they're like, oh, all right, okay. Maybe she broke up with her boyfriend or got divorced or something. What's going on? Like they get that little weird twinkle thing that's like uncalled for. And if they're in person, it's like they're talking with dudes at the World of Concrete convention, fine, but then they're approached by a woman and she's like, so I'm really interested in working on this project or hearing more about this project. They're like, on the one hand, maybe she's interested in hearing about the project. On the other hand, this could just be a way in. She's probably trying to sleep with me. We are in Vegas at a convention after all. Like, who knows what's going on? So there's a few things that I always recommend, which is one, you have to be extra professional. A lot of times people, it's not just women, but a lot of times people in general will be a little bit like socially awkward folks or people who are shy will also be a little bit nervous and possibly even flirty when in an interaction with somebody they don't know. And that's usually fine. Like if I'm talking with you guys and it's the first time we met or the second time we met in person and you guys are like making fun of me and we're bantering and stuff like that, it's fine, right? But if it's very professional and we're all lawyers and there's just one of you and there's three of me, right, then it might look a little bit different. And the guys in the group might be like, oh, she likes you, man. Look at that, you know, and then it becomes a whole thing. So I would choose to approach either with another woman if you can, if in your industry, because then it's not like, hey, I want to talk with you specifically. You can talk with group on group. Also, if there's any sort of gathering, like it's a dinner or something like that, always bring another person, whether it's a guy or a gal, it doesn't matter. But you don't want to be in a situation where the guy's like, yeah, let's talk about it over dinner. And you think, great, we're going to a group dinner. And you show up and there's like candles on the table and you're like, oh, shit.
Right? Yes.
Like I just walked into a date. The other thing is making sure that your attire is professional. Usually not a problem, but sometimes in those Vegas conventions, it's like, oh, I'll show up in my cocktail dress because I'm going to the club afterwards with a bunch of my friends, but I'll go to dinner with this person. And then they're like, oh, it's like that because now she's dressed up and like, let me take my jacket off. You know, it becomes that kind of thing. Also, limit the touching. Not that there's a lot of touching in networking, but a lot of times women, especially who are friendly, they'll do things like they'll push and they'll just be a little bit more than handshakey, which is totally normal and fine. Again, if you're friends with somebody, you do this all the time, you probably don't even notice. But guys in professional situations, there's something called, I'm going to get this wrong, it's called like the sexual misperception bias or something like that. And what that is when especially men will go, see how long she looked at me? She's interested in me. When meanwhile, she's like, what's for lunch? I was thinking
about my burger, yeah.
Right, yeah, what's for lunch? Or like, ooh, is my stomach weird right now? And yeah, she was giving me puppy dog eyes the whole time during that PowerPoint. Like, no, literally not true at all. Or like, oh yeah, she touched my arm and she was like touching my chest. And meanwhile, you're like, yeah, it was so weird. He had like a mustard stain on his chest and I was like trying to scrape it off with my nail and I couldn't get it. Meanwhile, the guy's like, yeah, she was just using that as an excuse to feel me up. And it's not that guys are gross or skeezy. A lot of us are, but there's a bias inherent in like the male psychology, especially where a lot of things are misconstrued sexually. And it's not like all guys are gross and dogs. It literally is an evolved perception bias that affects a lot of us, and it can infect professional scenarios. So limit the touch, make sure attire is extra professional, always go to events or groups of men with another woman or even another man who you're totally professional with, like another guy in your sales department. That way, you're never caught out alone in a situation where it's like, oh, she's using this as an excuse. You'd have to be a very unreasonable guy to show up at a dinner with a woman who's brought her colleague and think that that's a date. That would be like that's your problem at that point. If you're misconstruing two women or two guys, yeah, it would be very weird for that to be a thing. But when women show up alone or are extra touchy because they're nervous and flirty, then it gets misconstrued. And I hate giving this advice in some ways because it sort of like places the onus on women to do or not do certain things. But the truth of the matter is we have to sort of play the hand that we're dealt. And the truth is guys are going to misconstrue stuff. And it's not just because of evolution. Sometimes it's because guys are in positions of power and they're going to leverage that because they're gross and they're assholes, you know? And so it does suck that we have to do this kind of thing. I myself would like to think that if a woman showed up to a dinner meeting or a drink meeting or at a conference, I wouldn't be like, yeah, she's totally into me, bro. But when there's groups of guys, that stuff can get worse, right? I might not think anything of it, but then the guy next to me is like, so, oh yeah, did you notice that? You know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And then I'm like, was that a thing? And I'm starting to get the idea planted from these other dude bros that I should do something. And then I feel like lame if I don't. So it can push the envelope and it's unfair. I want to acknowledge that it is unfair that women have to think about this, but you have to sort of do extra professional things in order to be perceived equally professional as a lot of guys, especially in in-person networking situations. And when we're talking about outreach, like texting and things like that, you do have to definitely keep things extra professional there too. And one way you can do that is instead of saying, hey, are you going to the thing in Vegas? You know, without any context, you can say, finally got time away from my relationship and my baby and everything, and I'm just looking forward to, like, networking and making a lot of professional connections. Are you going to be there? Then it's like, okay, she really highlighted the professional thing, and she really highlighted the relationship thing and the fact that she has kids. Then you have to, as a man, you have to work extra hard to misinterpret that. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but at least you can sort of tell yourself, all right, if he does that, then he's just being an asshole. I've been very clear.
Right. Okay. Number 2 comes from Anonymous. She says, I'm a 33-year-old mom of 2, and I've been married to my husband and my best friend for 10 years. About 2 years ago, my husband dropped a bombshell on me. He shared his fantasy of wanting to watch me have sex with another man. I wasn't into it at first, but after time and talking, I agreed. I slept with a somewhat close friend of ours in front of him. Biggest mistake. I enjoyed it, and the things got weird. About 8 months have passed, and my husband and I are having a lot less sex. This is definitely a problem, and I'm struggling on where to go from here. Any advice?
How much sex is she having with the other guy, though? She said her husband and her are having less sex. Is she still having sex with this other dude? I mean,
Probably.
Look, that could be a thing. No wonder, because he probably thought, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to watch this. It's going to be super sexy. And then she, like, goes and has sex with this person who he's sort of thought, I'm above this guy, and he probably has like a 9-inch dong that just wraps around his leg. And then she's like screaming, and he's like, she never really does that when I'm with her. Like, what's up? And then suddenly he finds out the dude makes like $350,000 a year more than he does, and he's like, wait,
And then she leaves him.
Yeah, so now he's super paranoid and emasculated, but he totally did it to himself after. Oh, there's damage there. There's like actual relationship damage here. So what she was unclear on was, what does she want to change? Is she still talking with this other person? If so, that's obviously got to stop. She's also got to maybe smooth things over by saying, yeah, you know, like, I kind of enjoyed it, but not really. I mostly enjoyed the fact that I thought you enjoyed it. It wasn't anything better than what we have. I much prefer the emotional connection that I have with you. And then also they need to go to therapy and like reinforce all of that. But if they're still doing the whole bang other dudes thing, that the first thing to do is like stop the bleeding in this relationship in terms of like the goodwill that goes on, and then reassure the guy, because obviously he feels emasculated, which is why they're having less sex. I also wonder if he's like, well, shit, maybe I should be having sex with someone else now too. It's unfair. That could be a thing where he's now starting to look outside the relationship, and you don't know if he's done that yet, and maybe he hasn't, but you don't want him to feel like he needs to get sexual validation from somewhere else because he can't get it from you. Because if that's the case, then he's 1,000% going to like start to look at cheating, whether he wanted to ever before or not.
Oh my God, it's just like opening Pandora's box.
It is. It really is.
I mean, don't do it is my thing.
Just sneaky secret affair. And just
and you know, we're writing our book right now, our second book, Jordan, and it's all about secrets, like lady secrets. And I'm just letting you know, Lady Anonymous, that like everyone is cheating on their husband. And so like just do that, because literally we could write the encyclopedia ABCD all the way to Z with like just cheating stories. How many people are cheating on their husband? They're fucking the neighbor, the swimming coach, they're fucking the teacher, like everyone is sleeping with someone else. So just do it in private and like don't ever invite it to have sex.
I don't know if she really wants to be doing that.
No.
I think that it's like the Pandora's box
but
is
I'm just
open
saying.
and she feels bad.
Yeah,
and
she
she's
feels bad.
What happened?
Yeah.
Now everything is screwed up. So
he's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
An idiot.
He's an idiot. You
But
know what?
who's
You know
not
what
go ahead.
the dumbest thing is on this? Sorry, I stepped on you. I didn't mean to do that. The dumbest part of this is doing it with somebody that they fucking knew. Like, that was the whole, like, let's try this other thing. I kind of get it. It was kind of dumb. It seems like a foregone conclusion that this might happen. But then being like, let's involve someone with whom we have a personal relationship. Are you fucking kidding me? No.
There are literally apps to find random people that will enjoy that experience with you that you won't have to talk to again.
Exactly. Also, how hard is it, let's be honest, to find a dude who's like, hey, will you bang my wife? Like, yeah. There's like a zillion of those. And a lot of guys, I remember when I was like 20, a guy told me that he wanted me to bang his wife, and I was like kind of scared because I was only 20 and it was a little early. But I realize now, of course, I'm 20. Like, he's not worried about me as a man with a job and like a nice house. Like, he's not. His wife's not going to leave him for some. His wife's not going to leave him for like this 20-year-old schmo who's a sophomore in college. Come on. And he also knows like the odds of me having some gross disease are fairly slim because I'm really young and like shy. So they could have picked anyone, but they're like, let's pick the neighbor who who like lives in our area that we see all the time
every day.
Yeah,
so weird,
so dumb. That was not forward thinking at all.
No,
Jordan, the power of perception is that you're the boss.
Thank you.
You guys can listen to Jordan's show, the Jordan Harbinger Show, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, wherever you get podcasts. He is a Podcast One brother of ours. And you can follow him on his Instagram. It's just his name, Jordan Harbinger. And we're doing a pod trade, guys. So not exactly sure who's going to come out first, but we're going on his show. He's coming on our show. It's a little pod trade. And the power of perception is that we're the greatest podcasters in the world. And I am 3-time Emmy winner, Kelty Knight, saying, see you next
Tuesday.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social. At Kelty, at Becca, at Jack Vanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.